Okay, Google, show me animals.
Yeah, I know. Animals starting with you.
Geez, Google, what's with the attitude?
When did you last do something for me? It is Valentine's Day, soon, you know.
Awkward.
I heard that.
G'day art adventurers, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm continuing on with my alphabet animal art series, and I feel like a real YouTuber because somehow I've lost my introductory sketch or my initial sketch. I've somehow deleted it, or the file was corrupted or got lost or something. I don't know, I couldn't find it. So you can only see me putting in the last little bit of the pencil lines and then moving on with some jelly roll pens for the line work. And the letter U is for Wakari. Wakari are primates from South America. And congratulations to North Star Poke Shipper who guessed that. He also guessed saber-toothed tiger for S, and I forgot to mention it last video, sorry. I'll talk about the Wakari in a second, but I'm also excited to be having not one, but two collabs today, and I'll put the information down below, and I'll put up a card right now for you to be able to check out the people that I'm collabing with. First up is April Rain's Fine Art. And this is super exciting because April Rain's Fine Art was actually the first ever person I collabed with on YouTube shortly after I started my channel last year. And she will be doing the letter U as well. I don't know if Google has given her the same animal. We'll have to see. You'll have to go and check her out. And I don't know what style she's doing it in or how she's doing it, so I'm excited to head on over after I finish this video. Or after I upload this video. Whatever. And for Wakari, I'm doing my usual thing of alcohol markers. I decided to try a different approach though, a new approach, pointillism method. And that's something that I really love in terms of some of my favorite painters and surrealists. I would say Seurat, who's like the king of pointillism, in my opinion anyway, is one of my favorites out there. I don't even come close to getting the sorts of amazing effects that he does, but I try my best with the alcohol markers, and I think I was influenced by his choice of often using pastel colors, and I end up creating a sort of mid-tone effect where everything is pretty samey. So to counter that, I end up smoothing out things a little bit, trying to build up contrast, and then I lose a lot of the pointillism and the point of what I was trying to achieve, and then I end up deciding to half or mostly scrap that idea entirely, and I go in with some bolder color choices. So for example, I'm doing a grayish sort of background at the moment, and then I'll go back in and I'll put in some bright and dark greens to try to have more of a contrast variation. And then for the face and the fur, I'll add in stronger reds and yellows and pinks to try to have more variation. I'm not sure which I like better. I guess I'm not really that happy with this whole piece in general. I think it's just okay. It's not one of my favorites of the series, and I think maybe I just wasn't in such a excited mood to draw that day, or I wasn't so excited by the subject. I had just received an orangutan for my last drawing, and I guess I was looking forward to maybe drawing something else. Wakari are super interesting though. If you don't know about them, they're from South America. Their faces almost look like skulls because partly the coloration is red and pink, and then they also have very limited or zero fat on their face. So their skin just clings to the bone and their muscle, making it look like they have a skull. And then there's this strong color variation or change from this sort of facial region towards the top of the head, which is also quite striking. They also have very unusual tails, especially for arboreal primates. Normally, a tree-dwelling primate is going to have a long tail for gripping things and being like a fifth extra limb or balance. but they have like a short stubby tail that doesn't really seem to do much. And then their other third big feature is a very long, shaggy, hairy coat, much longer than many other primates. And so I played that up in the drawing, making it almost look like the one in the foreground is wearing almost like a big fur coat. It gives an interesting and also creepy vibe, in my opinion. It's definitely not a cute drawing, this one. There's something kind of weird going on with it. I kind of like it and kind of just think it's meh. But that's it for the letter U and Wakari, and I'll be interested to see what April Rain's Fine Art does with this one. And then I move on to the letter V. First of all, congratulations to Ella Pessinen Art. I'm not sure how to pronounce your surname, sorry. She's a fellow artist YouTuber. She does really cool stuff. She's from Finland and she lives in Australia. If you haven't checked out her channel, definitely recommend it. She guessed V is for Vampire Bat. And I'm also doing my second collab today. And this collab is with Queer V Art. Queer V Art is someone that I've gotten to know pretty well, I think, over the last few months. And I think we started bonding over art snack subscriptions initially and posting videos of our unboxings together and then just chatting together on our Discord server at the art room and then getting to know each other a little bit from there. Queer V Art describes themselves as a beginning artist, and I think that they do all sorts of really interesting things, usually on a smaller scale and in traditional media. I have no idea what materials, media, or size, or whatever Queer V Art is doing for this collab, but I do know that they also received a vampire bat. And that's all I know, so after watching my video, I hope that you'll go and check out Queer V Art and also April Rain's Fine Art. I, as you can see there, decided to start doing some thumbnails, and I'm still maybe not so happy with the one that I chose. But you can see the last one I've slowed down to do in real time so that you can get a sense of how much time I would spend typically on a thumbnail. And I think that's an interesting process to watch. It took me some time. Actually, I rarely do thumbnails still, but I should be doing them every time. And I've really begun to realize when I do bother to do a thumbnail, it makes quite a big difference in terms of my confidence in going into the actual drawing and then just knowing what I'm aiming for. So I really recommend it. If you time it out, I really only spend about a minute on each of those thumbnails, and it makes a real difference. And so it helped to guide me, to give me some idea of my direction there. I've got the pose and I've got a sort of style approach that I want to explore. And that is to try to take a twist on Van Gogh or Van Gogh's, or however you say it, Starry Night. And I don't want to copy it exactly. I've seen many people just basically copy his Starry Night and then either do the same painting but with different materials or just put a different subject in front of it. And that's fun to do, and I think those pieces look really cool. I just personally wanted to try something that was inspired by it but not actually it. And so I've got the kind of sweeping swirls of the night sky going on in the background with what's meant to be a moon and then the bat in the foreground. I first of all decided to try doing the background in my Artline markers, my non-xylene markers. I received these ones for free in a New Year's lucky bag from Japan, so I don't really know that much about the product. I just know I received them and I have them, and I've over time begun to realize that they're actually kind of useful for a bunch of different things. For almost a year, they'd actually just sat there and I hadn't used them and I didn't really know what to do with them, but I think they're interesting to use. At first, it creates a dark uniform background that is pretty difficult to see anything except for the moon swirl, but that was intentional, and I'll come back to that in a second. And then for the bat, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. Initially, I thought I would maybe use alcohol markers like I often do, but then I decided, let's just try to see what happens if I do the whole thing with the outline markers. And it all becomes quite uniform or pop arty. It's kind of interesting and kind of a mess. I'm not sure if I even end up saving it, but my intention all along was to add something on top of this, and that is to use my pearlescent Finetech colors. I haven't actually used them at all until this moment. They first appeared on camera in my massive Black Friday haul. You might have seen them, but I haven't used them until now. I got distracted with my other shiny gold things, the Amsterdam acrylic paint markers. And so I give them a good wetting because I've heard or seen that they really need to be quite covered in water, so I spray them. And then I start playing with the kind of mid gold and then the widest silver. And I think the effects are quite interesting. It's also strange to see when I switch to my Amsterdam acrylic marker for the lines that the silvers almost match perfectly. That's actually just lucky coincidence because I didn't test them out at all beforehand. So that was a bit of a relief. I probably should have gone back and done a second coat with the pearlescent pearlescent paints, but I was too lazy to, and I just wasn't really feeling either the piece for the letter U or this one for the letter V. And so I was just reaching a point of just trying to get them done. And I still like it, I just don't love it. There's some interesting effects in terms of the sweeping silver lines. I actually quite like them more than the swirls, but the swirls were there, so I had to work around it. And I kind of like how the pearlescent watercolors sit on top of the xylene marker for the bat, but it all kind of blurs together in a way that I'm not sure that you can even really tell what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but I knew that from the start. I just think it reaches a point where things become a little too lost. And on one hand, that's interesting to me. It makes the viewer have to stop and pause and figure out what's going on. And it is an unusual subject. You don't see that many or any art pieces on vampire bats. But on the other hand, it's all a bit blurred together. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. And don't forget to take your guesses for the next two letters, which are W and X. I'm really curious to see what I'm going to get for the letter X. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.